No, actually, the thing is that we're going to spend quite some time today, as you're also going to be our guest for the social movie night.
Oh, that's right.
And it's kind of freaky because I just saw like an hour of the movie because we had the dash coming over.
And then people had to leave. Well, it ends very well. Don't worry.
But you know what? So far what I saw, I was very pleased. It really seemed like well written, but then again, as you've been writing this entire thing, like co-writing it with others, what comes in first? Is it like the bunch of like crazy, stupid ideas, and then let's find a common agenda, or is it like the other way around?
It's actually the other way around. We oddly approach the movies from like a very emotional standpoint. We think a lot about like what would these people be feeling at this point in their lives, and that is kind of the only way that we can make all the crazy stuff that surrounds it seem like in any way like it's cohesive, I guess. And so that's what we started with, is like, okay, in the first movie, they just had a baby and they can't party anymore. Now they've dealt with that. What would be the next phase of being a parent, you know? And Zach in the first movie is like reconciling graduating college. What would happen after that? And then we came up with the idea we really liked about exploring like people just entering college. And that, like the theme of growing up was kind of prevalent always, but then kind of figuring out like what ideas you wanted to explore, and then we fill it with disgusting jokes.
Well, I personally think this is really really bringing back the sensation that I had like in the 80s with like some college movies. But again, like one thing that I realized in my life, I think I'm not going to make it over to Australia. I hate flying, so this is not something that's going to happen. But one thing that I really missed is like going to spring break, because that's kind of the idea that we have about Americans, and like college, about this time. You were really like 19. Wow, you're like a veteran already, like in Hollywood.
Did you ever go to spring break?
I've never really done a real spring break.
Wow.
No, yeah, I never like experienced spring break or had like a technical summer break.
Wow.
I've had like Christmas break and my birthday, but
That's
I
so
never
cool.
had that. Yeah.
But what does it mean for you, like college? Because I was really pleasantly surprised that I saw some new things about like college life in general, because we have this idea that Americans, like once they like leave home, they're just going crazy, using drugs, going to orgies. That's pretty much like all we have in mind when it comes to college. What is it like these days in America going to college in comparison to the movie?
Like some people are like that. Some people just kind of go crazy and party every weekend and don't really do anything. And then you have others who are obviously like a much more
academically driven.
Yeah.
People do learn things in college. What we always joke about in these movies is they're about college, and you never see the inside of a classroom ever. At one point in the entire movie at all.
No.
Which is not what college is really like. People actually go to class.
You have to.
But it's boring to watch people in class, so we don't show that part of it. Yeah, exactly.
But what was it for you like to be like now part of this movie family in terms of? I saw this one interview with Zac Efron, which is like brilliant in that one. It's like amazing how how great he is in playing being stupid.
Yeah, he's so committed.
Especially when it comes like to meat and weed. I'm not into mathematics.
He's
I'm
so
into
funny.
weed. But for you, like, how was it? Because I saw like Zac Efron saying like he idolized Seth. He was like whatever Seth would say or do, he would follow him. How was it for you?
Chloe was not like that.
And I was like, shut up, Seth.
Shut up, Seth.
Don't tell me what to do.
I got this.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously coming into the movie, you know, Seth is such a comedic genius, and I kind of grew up watching all of his awesome, funny movies. So it was a huge opportunity for me to come in and do my own thing with an awesome cast and group of writers and everything. And it just felt like a fun opportunity to try my hand at comedy.
Well, of course, I've seen some of your movies, including like Kick-Ass, even Carrie, and The Fifth Wave. But I felt that you were in total comfort playing that role. Is it because it's like closer to you as a person, or just because it just seemed so well written that it feels like it?
Yeah, I mean, we did a lot of improv and stuff. We were able to kind of put our own spin on the characters, which is what's really cool about working with Nick and with Seth and Evan and everyone. They all kind of let you do your own thing in a way. So I feel like, like a lot of this character, we definitely put in our own stuff.
Yeah,
like,
we don't know how 18-year-old women talk. And so, like, we have an idea of the emotional stories we want them to go on, but the exact words that, like, someone who's a freshman in college in 2016 would be saying, like, we can pretend we know, but we don't actually know. So it's much easier if we're like, here's what we want to get across. Here's the specific jokes that we like. But how would you say this to each other, basically?
But that must be a nightmare editing all of that, because if you have so much material, I mean, your dad, your movie dad comes in, you're having a discussion, and you're like, yeah, that makes, okay, I got it. She has a point. Okay, it's family. And editing all of that must be kind of a nightmare, isn't it?
It's always good to have more material than less material. So the real nightmare in editing is when you're trying to find something and you don't have it. So it's much easier if you have a lot of ingredients to play with. It takes a long time, but again, the real nightmare in editing comes when you don't have as many options as you would like, rather than having a bountiful amount of options, which is often the situation we're in, thank God, because we shoot so much material.
So much material. Yeah.
And about the risk being part of such a project, I mean, for you being involved with drugs, I mean...
It's a big risk.
Maybe you're never going to get away from it, including a sausage party, anything of that. But for you being 19, I mean, like having a bunch of young kids getting drunk and using drugs over here in Europe, it's like, yes, so what? But I understand, like in America, people must be like, Chloe, you are a role model. And as one, you should. I mean...
That hasn't happened, has it?
Yeah, no, people haven't actually been that crazy about it because there's such a stigma around college in general, and I think it's just kind of funny to see for people, at least for people that know my career prior to this, which is like pretty serious, dramatic, like intense movies. So I think it's just fun for them to see me kind of do a very modern project because, I mean, everyone knows this is what's happening, you know? Like, everyone knows that that's how college is.
Yeah, I don't think anyone will think that people in college drink because Chloe drinks.
No, not at all.
It's a chicken or the egg kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the first question, which I totally forgot, is because I didn't have a chance just to Google it. Is it true that there's something that says in America that sororities are not supposed to party?
Yeah.
Opposed to fraternities? Is that... Really?
Yeah, it's completely true. We did not make it up. That's why, I mean...
It's really messed up, actually.
It's really messed up, but that's where the whole idea for that story in the movie came from, was a woman who works in our office literally told us that she was in a sorority, and we were like, they should make a sorority and throw all these parties, and she's like, well, sororities aren't actually allowed to throw parties. And we were like, what? And she was like,
what does that even mean?
And that kind of evolved into like a large idea for the movie. Yeah.
Well, we're very glad that you guys made it over here and that you're going to be part of the social movie night tonight, like in a movie theater. That's also like a new way of like promoting movies.
No, that's awesome.
But does it mean that this kind of movie is also going to be promoted in the US, that you're doing like a college tour or something like that? Would that make sense? Or is it that you're really looking for a mature audience that's like, remember back in the days?
I think it's both. I mean, I think
mix.
That's why I think people like the first one and hopefully this one is because if you're someone who's closer to my age, I think that there's a lot of stuff you can relate to.
We're closer to each other than we are.
Yes, exactly. If you're like you, closer to Chloe's age, then there's a lot of stuff that you could probably
couple of months
relate to.
Yeah. What it's like to be a freshman in college. Be out on your own for the first time.
Yeah.
18
years old.
I think there's something for everyone, hopefully.
Well, I am really looking forward just to see also the end. As I said, I just saw the first hour. But once again, it was a pleasure talking to you. Enjoy your coffee.
Thank you.
And you're staying in Berlin.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.